Greetings, I am Tom Merle. Welcome back to this special series of the celebration called Gifts for You. If you haven't yet, I suggest you go back to the very first episode of this series. Not the entire podcast, just this series. That's the first episode that came out in 2022. It'll tell you all about what this series is about. If you don't feel like doing that, though, don't worry, my friends. You can jump right in here and still have a great time. Now, just as a reminder, while this intro for this episode might sound very similar to last week's, have no worries. This week, we bring you another fresh set of deep, insightful, and meaningful conversations. Today, we're going to dive even deeper into this time capsule that we're opening by listening to another set of conversations that I recorded in 2019 just before my daughter was born. And so without further ado, I'll step aside and I hope you enjoy. Crysta, I want to thank you so much for being a part of this journal, this living journal that I'm creating for my child. So how I'd like to have people introduce themselves is you could share your full name and what does your name mean to you?
My full name is Crysta Tyus, and my name means, that's such a good question. What does my name mean to me? My name means clarity, vision, confidence for the future.
I love that. So, and this, I'm addressing my child. I'm not calling you child. So, child of mine listening right now, one of the reasons I wanted to introduce you to Crysta is Crysta has had such an amazing journey. I'm already going to be making you listen on my podcast. So we'll play that podcast later, but she's a very successful entrepreneur, but she's really gone through a very inspiring journey. So I'm so happy to introduce you to Crysta. Crysta, what advice would you like to share with a child being born in 2020?
It's a beautiful time. It's a beautiful time. What a wonderful time to come into this world. Like, it's going to be such an adventure, and so much more advanced, like just with technology and people's mindsets, like I really feel like the time that your child is going to be born is just, life is going to be a lot different when they get, like, they'll probably, like, we'll be mining Mars in the next 10 years. They'll try to colonize Mars. Like, they'll probably be a part of that that cohort to do that. So it's such an exciting time, and it's such a wonderful time to be alive.
So from some of the clues you dropped, I think you and I are about the same age. So we grew up, what'd you say?
I'm 31.
Okay, I'm 32. So yeah, we're the same age. So we grew up in that time of both not having technology and now having technology, whereas my baby's going to have technology from the gate. What advice do you have, or, reminder of, how to use technology without it becoming something that takes over your life?
Yeah, for sure. Like, if you can have balance, I don't know if that's possible. I'm sure your dad is going to help you out with that, but there's so much of the world to experience. And even now, I notice my kids get lost in, like, YouTube and games and Minecraft. And it's like, go outside, go play, go have fun. So now it's like, intentionally, when we move into our new house, just having those toys outside, like a trampoline, and just making sure that you guys set weekly dates to be outside and to talk to people in real life, and just, have that genuine connection, and absolutely no phone, no tablet, no device time at dinner time. Like, it's just family connection during dinner.
I like that. So we had talked a little bit about, before we started, that my child will be however they want to phrase it as they go out their life, but multiracial or multi-heritage. What advice do you have, or what is the beauty that you want to share with them to remind them, if society ever tries to take that beauty away, what would you like to share with them about that?
Yeah, your child has the best of both worlds. Like your child is special. Congratulations for being multiracial. Like that is such a beautiful experience because you're like you have a multi-dimensional view on life, especially coming from your father, as well as your mother. So I will also say from my friends who do have biracial parents, they tend to they don't know what to identify, right? They're like, if I say I'm black, then that means I'm shunning my father who's white. Or if I say I'm white, I'm shunning my mother who's black. So that is a big confusion for a lot of, at least my biracial friends. And just having, I know your parents are going to be so loving, and just to let you know that whatever you identify with is special, and you're cherished, you're honored, and you're in such a like your father's going to be the minority by the time you get grown, because most people most people are going to be have some sort of biracial background in the next 30, 40 plus years. So you're just ahead of the curve. You're ahead of the game.
I love that. And then my last question is around, adversity, those moments where, that's a part of our journey going up and down. But when you're at those downs, what would you like, them to remember?
Oh yeah, that it's only temporary. It's only temporary, and to always stay positive. Always, you never know what people are going through. So if someone is giving you a hard time, try to just change the story that you tell yourself. So if someone's being mean to you, it's not about you; it's about them. So just bless them on their way. And that's kind of how I've done it, to just change the story on how I see and view people. To be like, oh, they're just having a bad day, or maybe they just went through something tumultuous. So you have complete and total control over your happiness, and to own that and stay the course and stay strong and stay positive.
I appreciate that. And lastly, what is your invitation? What would you like to invite them to consider, to think about? What's your invitation?
My invitation would be to leverage your unique vantage point and to talk to all types of people, and to learn all types of cultures, and maybe even learn different languages if you can. Like I would love for my children if they could be multilingual, or bilingual, but try to just experience all types of people and love all types of people and talk to all types of people. And that's going to give you a wide range of experiences to draw upon. And you're going to be able to maneuver in a way that most people can't, because they aren't multifaceted like you would be.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And I look forward to one day y'all getting to meet each other.
Right. That's like my little niece or nephew now. Like,
Yep.
I got to buy them Christmas gifts every year. I think Krista's going to send a video blog every year now.
That's my hope, to start helping them have an awesome network right from the gate.
Yeah, that's great.
So, London, just want to thank you so much for being a part of this. It means so much to me.
Absolutely. I'm happy to be a part of it. Thank you.
My pleasure. So I was wondering if you could start by sharing your name and what your name means to you, or a story about your name.
Sure. So my name is London Jones. I use she, her pronouns. And my name, even though my name is London, most people think that I was born in London or my family was in London, but that's totally not the case. My parents kind of ironically had the same dream on one night about naming me London. So I guess the story goes like my mom said, to my dad, I think we should name her London while she was pregnant. I think we should name her London. And I was thinking about that last night in my dream, and my dad said, that's so funny. So was I. And so that is kind of how that name came about. Yeah, so what it means to me, I think what stands out most to me about my name is just kind of the cosmic nature of relationships and partnerships. I think so much is shared in our conversation, but also so much is shared in a realm that we can't really see sometimes. So I just think it speaks to the connection that my parents had as they were preparing for parenthood. So, yeah.
I love that. That is amazing.
Sometimes a disappointing story to some people because they want to hear like, yeah, they met in London, but I think it's really sweet.
It almost sounds too like something spiritual in there, that they both had
Exactly.
dreams. Let's kind of start there. What are your, how do you explain things like that?
Oh, it's interesting because I do a lot of dreaming, um, and I have a very active kind of dream world. And I've noticed lately that my partner and I also share dreams. It's very similar. Things will happen, or a continuation of her dream will happen in my dream. And so I do think that I don't know that I have the words or the knowledge or the wisdom to explain those things, but I revere them and honor them as indicators that life is so much more expansive than we see. That there's so much to our being as relational people, as people in relationships with partners and friends and family. That there's an energy shared, there's a wave shared, and I do think it is of God. I think that they are all remnants that we are emanations. So, yeah.
I love that. So, unless something's changed, my understanding is that what you feel called to serve in your professional life is in the nonprofit world. Is that still
Yeah,
true?
that is still true. I'm fighting the good fight still.
So, I know it's not an easy industry, and it doesn't always
Yeah,
come with a lot of fiscal upside.
yeah.
So why, with the geniusness that you have, that you're a brilliant person, you're driven, all these things,
Mm,
what called you to walk this path?
yeah. That's a great question. And I always appreciate being able to reflect on that too, because when you're looking at your paycheck versus your bills and you're like, how are the two connected? But really I see this work was like moving through me before I knew that it was like going to be a place that I really dedicated um, my energy and my skills to. Um, I think about it started early when I was a kid. When I was, uh, I started as a Girl Scout. And so my family really supported me in being in service to others. And that was always at the core of everything that I do. It's just I did not see myself as I could not like really kind of see my like life direction just going in pursuit of like what I get, right? Like it's never just been about how I'm able to succeed, whatever that means in this life. It's always been about what I'm able to attract to my world and how I'm able to share that with other people. How I'm able to use what I've been privileged to receive or earn um, to allow that to reach other people. I'm from South Central LA. The community I'm from is amazing and it is vibrant and dynamic and it's entrepreneurial. And people have been doing so much there for so long. Um, and so it really feel like it's my responsibility to ensure that I'm always giving back to my community. Um, so that's really what's like, and what kind of led me there was I was kind of directionless for a while. I wasn't sure like what I wanted to do. But what always felt in flow and what felt natural to me was that whatever I was doing was going to be meaningful for someone else, no matter what, right? Like no matter what it was, how grand or small it was. Um, so that's really kind of propelled me in this work. It's allowed me to stay committed to this work. And I also now have become really energized and focused on how to ensure that the sector as it's like a whole is supporting the people that are coming to work in it, right? That because so much of what they're doing is giving from their heart, from all of their skills. We all know that if you work in the nonprofit world, you wear every single hat, and you deserve, and those the people working in this field deserve a place that also is supporting their wellness and their well-being. So that kind of permeates in a lot of different ways, but I hope to support organizations in adopting cultures that really support the people who are dedicated because they've already got the commitment. So that's that.
I love that.
Yeah.
I also know that you're somebody who owns your power and knows your worth and demands that holds that bar, even if somebody doesn't. Can you talk a little bit about that journey?
Sure. And thank you I'm happy to hear that. I don't always feel that I own my power and all of those things, but I'm happy to have that reflected. I think that understanding our worth and our value is a journey. I think it's a journey in self-love. It's a journey in self-esteem. And I did not always see myself as worthy. I did not always love myself. I did not always have the esteem that I, have sometimes. And some days I'm like, where did my self-esteem go? But I think that, it has really supported me in ensuring that I'm always acting in my authentic ways, right? Like I'm only moving from what's really calling me. And when I've noticed when I'm not in my power and when I'm not honoring myself first, things don't really feel good. Things, sometimes there's challenges that are not, and I think all challenges are teachers and they're just reminders of, they're reflecting something back to us. And they're also indicators of what we feel like we want and we deserve. And so I see them as invitations for, this is like for being called into something else. So in my work life, that has meant that if I believe and can and try to support an organization and the people it serves, and things feel out of integrity, I try to be a person to try to continue to encourage that and encourage that we move with integrity. I also see that it's important for me to align with other people who are doing that, because together, as we have those shared and those collective values, we are able to really move so much further. And I hope to be models for other people who may not be able to, for whatever reason, kind of move with that same level of integrity. So I think also power is about uplifting others and recognizing when you can share that power. So in my last couple of iterations of nonprofit work, I've managed departments, I've had teams, and I've really tried to adopt the leadership style of leading from the back, right, and propelling other people to be leaders, because they're so brilliant and they know so much, and they often know so much more than I do. And so I think being humble in that experience and not being afraid to be accountable to other people and to yourself, not being afraid to admit when you're wrong, because as a leader and as you're often wrong, and we all are. But how can we? I really try to encourage a space for mistakes to happen, and for there to be compassion around those things. And so that's how I try to move with my power. It's not just mine; it's all of ours.
I love that. On that note that you shared, we're going to really try to be intentional in raising baby to own their power, to love themselves in their full identity. At the same time, we know that there are going to be messages they're going to be receiving from society and from people that are going to be counter to that. Even just this past week, there's been a ban on people in Nigeria, which is where, a big part of our child's identity.
Yes.
What advice would you share if they find themselves struggling to love any part of themselves or anything like that coming up, specifically to around identity?
Yeah. I think looking on like my life and like my history and trying to come into myself and my full self and feeling really excited about that person. I noticed moments where I suppressed who I was or who I was ashamed of who I was or where I was from. And now I look at those moments as they're really beautiful markers of who you are, right? And the messages are astounding, right? Like they are constant, and I believe that we are seeing an like a evolution in how people support messaging, and we're seeing communities really stand for who they are and stand for everyone else's ability to um, self-identify and to love and to feel worthy and valuable. In those moments when I feel like you are feeling like um, parts of you are worth hiding, are worth shielding or protecting, I encourage and I support you in knowing that those are the most beautiful parts of you. Those are gifts that are unique to you, that are individual to you. No one else can live in that world the way you will. Um, and I promise that if you are feeling some shame or guilt around really living in those ways or those parts of you that make you who you are, there are other people just like you who are feeling those exact same things. And really, that was my biggest grace, was recognizing that there are other Black women who are struggling with a world that really forces Black women to narrow stereotypes, very narrow stereotypes, and recognizing that you are expansive. Who you say you are today does not have be and probably will not be who you are in 5 years, but recognizing that that journey and that love, that process is worth holding on to. And I really, as I look to my younger self, I really wish she would have felt as proud of those things and um, not let them go. Really, I look back on so much of my childhood and my high school years, for example, my teenage years, and there was I was awkward and I was shy and I was, typically nerdy, and those were things that I felt um, would not allow me to be accepted into any community. And now, as an adult, I find that those are the things that I am so proud of because being a nerd has allowed me to be open to so much learning, has allowed me to continue to be a student of life. And being awkward has allowed me to find other awkward friends and create real love where perhaps there was harm before. So, yeah.
I love that. Is there anything you want to share that I haven't asked that's just on your heart that you want to speak to?
Oh, I have so much to say, and I think I'm so proud of who you and Adora are as people. I am so excited for the love that is going to be shared in your family. And for you, baby, you have incredible parents. You have two people who are um, just so lovely, honorable people who I deeply admire. And I am excited for you to have the joy of being in their world, just as I'm sure they're excited for you. So, and you have a community. I think I think as we, continue to grow, sometimes it's hard to know who's really here with us. And in our age of moving so quickly through life, sometimes time goes by, but know that you, baby, and you, dad, and mom have a community. And I am here to be a witness and to also be a support in your community.
On that note,
Yeah.
what can baby turn to you for? What conversation, what advice, what they need? What can they turn to you for?
Baby can turn to me for anything. Anything. If you are, if you need a friend to talk to, if you are questioning anything about who you are, if you need advice, if you just need someone to listen to you, to affirm who you are, to affirm your thoughts and your imagination. If for whatever reason you need money, I got you. If you need a place to stay, I know like baby will grow and be an adult and life gets challenging at times, but you have people to you have me to not just be here to talk, but to also to be a resource to you for your life.
And so then my last question, what is your invitation to baby? What would you like to invite them to do, consider, be, think about? What's your invitation?
Wow. I invite baby I invite you, baby, to explore, to allow yourself to really go as far and as wide as you are driven to go in every part of your world, to explore your interests, to explore yourself, to explore your community, your family, to ask questions of people, to always move with curiosity. I think when we can stay in a place of curiousness, we invite so much more to our world and to our lives. And um, I noticed that in my own world, I have regained so much by allowing myself to be a curious person. So I invite you to love yourself, to remember that you are loved always in who you are, no matter what and how you move through this life. You are loved deeply, very loved, very loved.
London, thank you so very much
Thank you.
Yes, I'm so grateful you're already a part of my child's world. So that means so much to me.
I'm so excited for you and for your family. So thank you for inviting me to be a part of this.
Of course, I can't wait for us all to meet and to hang out.
Yes, absolutely. Soon. Thank you.
Thank you, London. Have a good day.
Okay, bye-bye.
I hope you enjoyed the conversations that I'm sharing with you this week. And I hope you return again next week to continue this series, Gifts for You, and continue to receive the insights, the messages, and if I can use the word again, the gifts that each conversation is ready to share with you. My friends, I thank you for being here with us this week, and I look forward to you returning again next week for the next edition of Gifts for You. As always, I'm wishing you peace and blessings. See you next week. Thank you. One more thing. I'd love to continue the conversation. Feel free to join me at tomearl.com/join. Subscribe below, or let's connect on social media. Tom Earl Artist. Thanks again for watching.